Some of our favorite movies leave us in tears, and there's really nothing we can do but grab the box of tissues and just let it happen. Let it out. And even though something tragic happens and it really is just a movie, we can't seem to separate the two, and we might even watch it again, even though it had us looking like a hot mess. What's going on, guys? I'm your host Joss, and welcome back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. Give us a follow on social media, our links are down below, and hang out with me until the end so you can catch some new bonus content. But before we get to the fun stuff, let's live out some sad movie moments together. Grab your tissues. Here is today's list of top 10 movie moments that are too sad for words. Although I'm gonna try and do my best to put them into words. Starting off the list at number 10 is a moment from the movie Castaway. Yes, I am talking about the moment that Chuck loses Wilson the volleyball, aka his best friend. Throughout the movie we see Chuck, who is stranded on an island for years, become best friends with a volleyball who he calls Wilson. It sounds silly, I get it, but when you're so isolated and alone, you create a bond with basically whatever you can. The volleyball was almost like a pet to him. He had this close bond with him, and the moment we saw him separate was completely devastating. I had no idea a volleyball would be able to me up in the head so bad. In the scene, Chuck is woken up on his draft by a whale's blowhole spray. Wilson was tied to the mound when he fell asleep, but he notices that he is gone when he wakes up. He starts to call out his name and sees that Wilson is floating far away in the water. In this big desperate attempt, he tries to swim after Wilson, but the water is so rough that he realizes if he lets go of the rope, he loses his raft, but if he hangs on, he loses Wilson. It is in that moment that we realize just how much Wilson means to him and what he truly symbolizes. Next up at number 9 is a movie moment from Old Yeller. You know exactly what I'm referring to, the horrific scene when an owner has to kill his own dog. That is literally every dog owner's nightmare. Like, when I think about my dog and I think about this movie, it makes me want to cry and bring her to the studio with me every day. Travis's dog, Old Yeller, becomes part of the family like most dogs do, but at one point in the movie, Old Yeller has to defend the family against a wolf and he ends up getting bit by him. He becomes injured and is exposed to rabies, which means he is now a threat to the family. So, the only way to put Old Yeller out of pain and keep his family safe is to kill him. Travis takes a rifle and shoots him, and it is the most awful thing you will ever have to watch. He protects his family, and that's what he gets in return? It's just not fair. But keep in mind, rabies back then were a different story than it is now. Coming into number 8 is Little Women. You guys, when I first watched this movie when I was younger, it really messed me up. For those who haven't seen it, it follows the story of the March sisters, 4 girls who are trying to make ends meet in their New England home while their dad is fighting in the Civil War. Times can be pretty harsh, and they try their best to stay positive and keep their very close sister bond. But then the most heartbreaking thing happens, and spoiler alert, Beth dies, one of the 4 sisters. That scene of her death was literally heart-wrenching for me personally, and I think that's because I have 3 sisters, so the thought of that just physically hurts my heart. But yeah, even if you don't have sisters, it is still one of the hardest scenes to watch in a movie. And number 7 is the moment when Andy gives his toy away in Toy Story 3. Call me dramatic, but this was a devastating moment for me, and I know I'm not the only person who was affected by this as a kid. Why was it so sad? Well, for the first 3 movies, we watched this bond grow between Andy and his toys. Not only that, but we also grew a bond with the toys. When Andy was growing up and going off to college, we had to watch him move on from his toys. We were thinking that they would be stored in the attic or something, but instead he puts them in a box on the curb with the trash. Andy threw out his toys that were once his best friends. Not only were we watching Andy give up his toys, but that left us wondering if that was the end of Toy Story. Where would the toys end up? If they had a new owner, will we even care to watch it? I mean, Andy's name is on Woody's boot. I feel like you guys probably think I'm crazy or something, but you are lying if this scene didn't make you feel some type of way. You're lying. You're literally lying. Like, you're a liar. And spot number 6 is from the movie Marley Me. Yes, I am talking about the scene when Marley the family dog is put down. Listen. Any scene that involves a dog dying, and I am an emotional mess. I have a pet dog, but even before I had my own, I had a family dog all growing up, so I guess I'm just very emotional when it comes to dogs. However, I do feel like any pet dying is just a trigger point for most people. In the movie, Marley has been in the family for years, and he eventually gets diagnosed with a stomach torsion condition. Basically, his stomach becomes twisted, which is a very common thing in dogs of old age. The best option for him, since he is in a lot of pain and with his age, is to put him to sleep forever. The scene when they put him down and Owen Wilson is crying and saying goodbye to him as he lies on the table. It's brutal. Halfway through list number 5 is when Mustafa dies in The Lion King. Another Disney moment that broke the hearts of children all across the globe. But not even just as kids, because in the new live action remake, that scene still affected people, including adults. Watching Mufasa fall to his death and getting trampled by Stampede was horrifying as a kid, but the most heartbreaking moment is when little Simba goes to see his dad's corpse just laying there lifeless. What makes the moment of his death even worse is that we as the audience know the truth, and we know that he was brutally murdered by his own brother, Simba's uncle, so it wasn't just some accidental tragic death, he was murdered. How is this even in a children's movie is shocking to me, but it is Disney and they get away with everything. Here we are at number 4 with the animation movie Up, the moment that Ellie dies. I don't care what anyone says, animation videos are just as effective and sad. In the beginning of the movie, we see a 5-minute tribute showing the relationship of this adorable couple, Ellie and Carl. We see their relationship from the very start where they're young and in love. We see them get married, buy their first home together, try for a child, and then they grow old together, which ultimately leads to Ellie passing away, the deadly curse of old age. Seeing their bond and their love together is what makes the scene so significant, because Carl has to say goodbye to his best friend, the woman who has been his partner basically their entire lives. And since this is a real life thing and people go through it all the time, it is devastating to watch. Poor Carl. Taking the 3rd spot on our list is Jackson's death in A Star is Born. Alright, first and foremost, if you haven't seen this movie, shame on you. You are seriously missing out, and no, I am not being told to promote this movie by any means. It is just that good. Seriously, it's incredible. You don't have to be a Lady Gaga fan either. Honestly, I kind of forgot that it was even Lady Gaga in the movie. She does an incredible job, and Bradley Cooper always kills it. The two of them, well, their characters, Allie and Jackson, fall madly in love with each other, and we see their relationship flourish as well as Allie's singing career. But behind the scenes, Jackson struggles with a drinking addiction and depression, which ultimately leads to him taking his own life. I'm going to ruin the whole ending for you, by the way, just a heads up. Allie's performing one night and Jackson hangs himself in their garage as their dog sits outside the garage door whining in sadness as if he knows what's going on and can't do anything to help. I have never in my life cried during a movie like I did during this one. And even after I left the theater, I was emotional all night long. Honestly, it was one of those movies that just stuck with you because it was so heart-wrenching. In our number 2 spot is the choice scene in Sophie's Choice. The movie tells the story of a man named Stingo who moves to Brooklyn in 1947 to pursue writing his first novel. He meets a woman named Sophie, played by Meryl Streep, and learns that she is a Holocaust survivor. Flashbacks of what she went through in Auschwitz help him write his story. If you've never seen the movie though, you've probably wondered what Sophie's Choice means and why that is the title of the movie. Well, it is the most significant part of Sophie's story. While she was imprisoned in the Nazi concentration camp, she was given an impossible choice by one of the guards. She had 2 children, a son and a daughter, and she was given the choice to pick one of them to live. She had to choose which one would stay alive while the other one is gassed to death. And if she didn't choose, she would have to watch both of them die. You don't have to be a parent to know that this choice is literally impossible, but she does end up choosing, and it is gut-wrenching to watch. I won't tell you who she chooses, because I want to force you to watch this movie because it's so good. It's really hard to watch, but I promise Meryl Streep's performance is incredible. Moving on to the number 1 spot on our list is the ending scene in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. The 2008 movie told the horrific story of World War II. It follows an 8-year-old boy named Bruno and his family who move near the concentration camp where his dad has just become commandant. He wanders away from his house one day and finds a young Jewish boy named Shmuel who is the same age as him. Shmuel is in the concentration camp, but they still form this forbidden friendship which ultimately leads to the ending scene of the movie, which I am referring to on this list. The boys create this very close bond, and in the final scene, Bruno tells Shmuel that he is his best friend. Bruno actually sneaks into the concentration camp and puts on the striped pajamas to blend in with all the other prisoners. Not leaving his best friend's side, the 2 of them, along with hundreds of other prisoners, strip down and head into a gas chamber. That is when we see the 2 young boys holding hands in the crowd of people just waiting to be gassed to death. The scene literally puts knots in your stomach for a variety of reasons, but it is incredibly sad to watch. This one really is hard to put into words. Alright, that is our sad list for today. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and tell me down in the comments which movie moment you think is the saddest one. But I'm gonna end the video on a more positive and uplifting note. Let's do some comment shoutouts. Radical Rainbow says, hope your cold is getting better. Aw, you're so nice. It is. I'm actually not sick anymore. Right now. Which is great. My Christian Life says, when it comes to classic movies, you just can't change them. Stay awesome. Thumbs up emoji. You say awesome too. A remake doesn't change the original though, because the original will always exist, you know? Wicked Anime Girl says Will Smith's career curse is his son Jaden. I don't get why everyone hates Jaden Smith. However, I think Will's career is just fine. Damon R says, did you just call Tara Reid a great actor? Okay, I'm done. Did I call her a great actor, or did I say she was good at playing the girl next door part that she always played? Get it right. Alright, that's all I got for today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go, and just stay on the screen if you want to keep watching more of our videos. But for now, you can enjoy some bonus content. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Okay. Frosty the snowman was very happy, so and the button nose, carrot nose. I don't know what's up. And 2 eyes made out of coal. A button nose. No, you had a carrot nose. Damn it. I haven't said that in a long time. Because that don't make no sense. Too sad for words. Here's all my words. Whale's blowhole sway? That is not the word. I meant spray. Oh, it's so sad. Have you seen that? Have you seen that one?
No, I heard it was sad.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Have you seen it? Have you seen that? You haven't seen it, guaranteed.
No.
I knew it. Boy, you gotta watch more movies. What the f? Well said, I'm so sorry. The poor guy. My grammar's wrong and I'm not gonna say it. Old Yeller, Travis's dog. What? Okay, forget this friggin' thing. Let me just wing it. Because I was like, why would they shoot him if he had rabies? But I guess I did the research, and back then rabies was like this big, they didn't have like a cure or treatment for it, so it was like, if you had it, lesson of the day, because I didn't know. It's Monday. Although this happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but it's okay. I have an itch. I have itchy rib cage. I look like a monkey. But it, excuse me. Please, my mama picks me. I'll throw my mama in there. Are you kidding? Not a chance. I can't speak. I don't know why I can't say this sentence. All right, that is our sad list for today. Give it a thumbs. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Damn it, Jocelyn. Get your together, Joss.